as agriculturalists, and specifically as farmers in this case, one of the most important jobs that they have is remaining environmentally friendly. And a lot of the times, farmers may not know how to specifically make their farm more environmentally friendly, or may not just have the incentive to do it. It costs a lot of money to completely change their operation, and if they don't really have an incentive other than, becoming more environmentally friendly, a lot of the times they won't. And so to stop this and kind of help this problem, a lot of states and nationally too, but more specifically state by state, there has been a lot of programs put in place to give these farmers an incentive to help change their farm for the better and become more environmentally friendly. One of these that you can find in Virginia is called the Virginia Agricultural Stewardship Act. And that's the one I'm going to talk about today and kind of just give some information on it and how this program works. So I just wanted to start off this presentation just giving a little bit of general information about what this act is and why it got started. So this was first created in 1996 and is currently ran by the Virginia Department of Agricultural and Consumer Services, which is considered to be a third-party audit. So basically the people who are doing the audits are not affiliated at all with the company, the farm, anything that they're auditing. They're not affiliated at all. So it really helps to eliminate bias. And, that's really important because we want to, be as subjective as possible when we're giving advice to farmers and, trying to help them figure out what's best for their farm and what's best for the environment, because that's pretty much the main purpose of this, is to help, protect the environment a little bit more. So this was created to help farmers and also soil and water conservation districts in Virginia fix any kind of water quality problems that they could be experiencing. But the only thing is that it has to be a water quality issue that is directly related to agriculture. They don't deal with anything else other than, agriculture-based water quality problems. After going over some general information, you might be wondering, how does this act work? And to start off with, a complaint has to first be filed to the commissioner. It can be written in, emailed, you can call, and this can also either be an anonymous complaint or you can choose to reveal who you are. And so after a complaint is filed, typically an investigation will occur by either the Soil and Water Conservation District or by VDACS itself, but most of the time it's actually both of them who end up, completing the investigation, and they just work together. And so if something is found that is considered to be an issue, what they will first do is talk to the farmer, kind of tell them what's going on and what the problem is, and then they will give the farmer about 60 days to come up with a plan that they are on how that they're going to fix this issue. And so after they come up with a plan, they will, review it, and if they decide if this is a good plan to fix this problem, the farmer will then have about 18 months to actually implement that plan into their farm. And so that's pretty much how the process works. And I will get into some issues that could arise, if the farmer chooses not to, follow these instructions and work with VDACS and the Soil and Water Conservation District. There could be serious consequences, which I will get into in the later slides. as with anything, there are pros and cons to the Virginia Agricultural Stewardship Act. And, there's a lot of pros, but the cons kind of help sort this from other programs that are there specifically in Virginia for our farmers. And I really wanted to take this slide and kind of sum up, what are the main pros and what are the main cons of this. So, for the pros, it's great for, making farmers aware of, where they could be going wrong, and they might not even realize that, and it's just an easy fix. They certainly work with the VDACs in the Soil and Water Conservation District, and everything's fine. But a lot of the times, some farmers may not be so willing to participate, and that could actually result in legal action. If somebody does file a complaint on them, and they're told that they need to help fix the situation, and they choose not to, they could end up being summoned to court, and they'll pretty much just be forced to fix the issue if they choose not to cooperate. And so, that's kind of a con, is it obviously results in legal action. And, kind of on top of this, compared to other programs, there's really no incentive other than, don't get, sent to court. Other than that, there's really no incentives for farmers to, be in this program, or no incentives to really make a change with their operation. And so, kind of talking about the legal situation of it is an effective strategy. If somebody does get complaint filed on them, and they go through that whole process, it's very effective, because either way they're going to end up having to do something about it and change their management practices. So on top of that, some other pros is that they are very willing and very fair when working with farmers. They understand that sometimes it's just a lack of knowledge that is the reason why they're doing things a certain way, and they just don't realize that it's causing a negative impact on the environment. So, that's obviously a great way to, kind of take that time to educate our farmers. And some other, pros to this is that it offers cost share assistance resources, and allows amendments to original plans. So that kind of just comes back to being fair and willing to work with these farmers, because it costs a lot of money to, just up and change the way that you operate your farm and manage it. This means maybe, buying and building brand new fence, and nothing is cheap. So offering cost share assistance is going to really ensure that these farmers are going to be more willing to be more environmentally friendly and cooperate with this act. And, allowing amendments, nobody's perfect, and a lot of the times, like I've mentioned previously, is just a lack of knowledge. And allowing amendments to original plans, and going back to what I just said earlier, just working with them and giving them time to be educated, and giving them time to really be able to sit down and perfect the way that they want their farm or operation to run is very important. And the last pro is that this is all completely confidential. Nobody has to know about it other than the people who are involved. So that's obviously a really great pro, because nobody wants their business aired out, especially when it could potentially result in legal action. So while going over the pros, I pretty much went over a couple of the cons. But another con that I really didn't go over was that this does not cover agricultural activities that are subject to water quality permits. So, if anything could potentially have a permit, it's really not available to be a part of this act. And along with the list of cons, like I've also mentioned earlier, this particular act and program does not offer a direct incentive, like an award or a monetary, present or anything like that. It doesn't really offer an incentive. So that's obviously a con. I feel like, incentives are essential, especially when you're trying to get somebody to spend their hard earned money on making a change, especially if, maybe they're not too big into being environmentally friendly. So give them another reason to take their time, take their money, and make a change for the good. And to continue my, little spiel about how incentives are essential, I included a couple different programs, that are nationwide and also in Virginia. And all of these programs offer some kind of incentive for farmers. For example, California Dairy Quality Assurance Program, they actually offer workshops and online courses for farmers to take and become more educated about, environmental issues. And, there is Farm Assist, which is located in Pennsylvania, and they provide evaluations and assessments for these farmers. So this is kind of like what we've been talking about, this Virginia Agricultural Stewardship Act. This is kind of the same thing, except it's more of a voluntary basis. So that's really great. A lot of, if farmers have no idea that something could be wrong with their farm, just having somebody come out and kind of look at everything and be like, yeah, maybe we need to change this or change that. That is really essential to becoming more environmentally friendly. And so on top of that, there's also quite a few awards that people and farmers can get nominated for, such as the Virginia Clean Water Farm Award and the U.S. Dairy Sustainability Awards, which obviously the U.S. Dairy one is more nationwide. But the Virginia Clean Water Farm Award actually awards one farmer from each watershed district that is really just going above and beyond to help their water district be more environmentally friendly. So with that being said, I'm actually going to just give y'all some resources that I use to create this PowerPoint. And if you're wanting to learn more about these programs, these are some really great resources to do. And yeah, I hope y'all learned something and enjoy this presentation, and thank you for listening.